The Nexus 6P, arguably one of the best flagship phones of 2015. So I got this phone a little late in the game, so instead of doing a full review, a couple of friends and I are just going to talk about what we love so much about the Nexus 6P when it comes to a broad perspective, or just the little things like the camera or the software and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So my favorite thing about the Nexus 6P is obviously the software. The Nexus 6P runs Android version 6.0.1 Marshmallow, and since it's a Nexus device, it's always going to be first in line to get the update straight from Google as soon as a new version is announced and released. So besides the fact that I really like the way Android 6.0 looks, it also performs better than basically every other OS because there's no skin on top. It's pure stock vanilla Android, so it's obviously going to have much better performance in OSs like TouchWiz or LG UX UI and Sony's UI and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically what I like about the Nexus 6 a lot. And besides the fact that it runs stock Android, if you want to get a custom ROM on here, you can root it within like 20 minutes because third-party developers like to build like toolkits for rooting that make it so easy to root Nexus devices. I gotta thank those guys for that. Anyways, guys, that's been it for my part of this collab, and check out another reason why we love the Nexus 6P.
Hello guys, Eric here, and my favorite part about the Nexus 6P is the ergonomics. Having a 5.7-inch phone could be a serious hassle for someone like me with tiny hands, but I found that this was very easy to grasp. The dimple on the back makes it a nice place to rest your finger. The power buttons are nice and low, with the textured power button being very convenient when you can't see the buttons. The camera bulge on the back is not noticeable, which is extremely nice because that makes the rest of the device thicker and much more hefty to hold, which is more than welcome. The curves on the side make it nice to hold for long periods of time, and this is all with a 3000 milliamp hour battery. It still stays pretty light and pretty compact, but it's still just very hefty and nice to hold and use. That's my favorite part about the Nexus 6P, and if you want to see more, check out my What's on my Android phone video on my channel.
Hey guys, Everything Technology here, and my favorite feature on the Nexus 6P is definitely that camera. So many of you guys know that Nexus devices have always been known for just having terrible camera quality, and most of the times it wasn't even like the sensor's problem, it was just Google's fault because it just had terrible image processing, but all of that has been fixed with the new Nexus 6P. So in terms of numbers, this has a 12.3 megapixel back-facing camera capable of recording 4K videos at 30 FPS, and it has an 8 megapixel front-facing camera capable of recording videos at 1080p at 30 FPS. But numbers don't really tell anything. It's all about real-life performance. So image and videos come out extremely sharp. They have great dynamic range, and it does a considerable job in low light, unlike most smartphone cameras. And even stepping aside from the camera, this is an overall amazing phone. It has an extremely fast fingerprint scanner, an amazing Quad HD display, and not to mention, you're the first person in line to get the latest version of Android.
Hey guys, EasyTech231 here. My favorite thing about the Nexus 6P is the overall user experience. Now, as I said in my Nexus 6P review, I've never really been able to recommend a Nexus phone to just anybody. There's always been something wrong with it, whether it be the build quality, or the screen being poor, or the camera being poor, and pretty much every Nexus phone before the 6P has had a poor camera, and I believe everybody can attest to that. But with the 6P, it squashes all those bugs, and it is a near flawless device. I mean, considering the fact that it has pretty much everything that you want in a smartphone, especially in this price range. It's got fantastic build quality, it's got front-facing speakers, it's got a fingerprint reader, an awesome screen, and it's future-proof with the latest software updates for at least a couple more years, and USB Type-C. What else could you really ask for besides wireless charging? Because with metal phones, it's a little hard to do wireless charging. So when using the phone, it really makes me smile sometimes because you think, this phone is $200 to $300 less than some of the other flagship phones out there. I'm looking at you, Galaxy Note 5, and it really feels even more premium in my opinion. This thing is very solid, and I just love using it. It's fantastic. There's also the fact that this phone is blazing fast. There's no lag, there's no stuttering, there's no delay. I've experienced none of that in my usage with the Nexus 6P, so that ties in for a very nice user experience. So with all of those things being considered, tying into stock Android, you've got a user experience that is unmatched by any smartphone in my opinion. So yes, with the Nexus 6P, we're looking at a near perfect smartphone, and I've never ever said that about any smartphone ever. And that's why I like the Nexus 6P. That does it for me, guys, and thanks for having me on this collab video.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on this collab to talk about the Nexus 6P. Now the Nexus 6P is a phone that many Android enthusiasts have been really hoping and wishing for a very long time. And the reason behind that is because we've been seeing these phones coming out from Motorola, Samsung, and LG that have these amazing features that built into the phone, like front-facing speakers, really high-end camera, and other things like that. And we weren't getting that with Nexus devices. Nexus devices were like reference model devices, something a little bit cheaper that was easier to buy off a contract and things like that. And we started seeing a shift with the Nexus 6, and then the Nexus 6P came around, and it blew my mind. It had these features that Samsung would have, that LG would have, and that Motorola would have. It had the front-facing speakers that we've been hoping for a long time, have that amazing build, that aluminum metal build, and just that amazing quality when it comes to camera as well. It's just, the Nexus 6P really rolls everything in that we love about smartphones, giving us a pure version of Android, unfiltered, untapped, and a phone that will get updates for a very long time. Well, at least the next couple updates. And that's why I love the Nexus 6P. It's one of my favorite phones, and it's something I keep in my pocket all the time.
So thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll make sure to leave links to all the channels of the people who are featured in this video down in the description down below. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.